we go. I do have the chat box open, so you're welcome to throw any questions that you might have into that chat box, as well as you can feel free just to unmute yourself and interrupt me and ask questions. I usually also notice when you unmute yourself, so I usually have a heads up. But you want to go to your one login to get there. So if you don't have your one login set up already, you can throw a comment in the chat box and I can send you over the instructions on how to download that so you have your little extension in your Google Chrome browser, which makes it really easy to get to your login screen. And again, when we log into the one login, if you don't see OneSuite on this homepage, that's just your frequent item. So if it's not something that you frequent, then you would want to come over here to your apps, or you could hit the search bar as well. So there's a couple different ways to find that, but we are going to be working out of OneSuite today. So remember that OneSuite is our free database or free CRM, which is a contact relationship manager that we have. It doesn't cost anything, hence the name free. So it's a good option, especially if you don't have a lot of income coming in. Okay. So I like to err on the side of caution and on the side of not spending money. I'm really cheap. So for me to spend money on something, it has to be something that's really going to benefit my business and something that I have the money to reinvest into my business. So I would recommend just getting started with OneSuite if you don't have another option. You don't have a lot of income coming in. If you do, then you have some other options of looking at different CRMs that maybe are a little bit more robust or have more features associated with them. But OneSuite is really sufficient for just getting started. Down the road, if you decide that you want something more robust, you can always export all of your contacts right out of here and you can import them into your new CRM system. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you log in to your CRM. Any across the top toolbar, then when you've got OneSuite, which will always bring you back to this homepage, you've got a search bar where you can search for agents in our office. You can search for contacts in your database, look for activity notes, MLS listings, things like that appear in the search bar. So it's really kind of an encompassing search bar. You do need to be aware that sometimes when you type stuff in there, you have to wait for it to start populating things. So, so if you first just type something in really quick and you're like, nothing's coming up, just count to like 10 and then it'll pop things up. So here you've got agents, you've got if there was office names there, and then you've got contacts in your database. Here you've got things that would include Amy that were in your contact activity or notes, document center, and then MLS. Okay, so that's how that search bar works. Do type something in there, give it a second to auto-populate. Don't jump to conclusions. As you move across the top, there's the notifications little bell, which will tell you who's got birthdays and anniversaries coming up. It'll also, so that's the top one. So if you've got birthdays and anniversaries logged into your OneSuite, you could just log in here every day and do what you need to do there. Or we can go into any task that you have scheduled. Okay, so anytime we add people to our database, we have a conversation with them. We talked about last week how we want to, or not even last week, Monday. Gosh, I can't believe it's only Thursday. It seems like forever ago. But on Monday, we talked about the fact that we want to log tasks. So if we have a conversation with somebody, we want to log that in there and then set a task for when the next time we're going to interact with that contact is. And then you would set a date and a time for that. And it's gonna pop up for you in your taskbar. Okay. The next thing that you have here is you have your profile. So here you can edit your profile, change your password, or log out. Okay, so if you don't have a little picture like I do, yeah, that would be in your profile. That's where you could update and edit that. Okay, any questions about that top toolbar and the options that you have there? All right, we're going to go down the side toolbar here in a minute. The home screen that takes us here is, hey, it says good morning, right? It probably switches the afternoon. In the afternoon, you've got 55 contacts with a current birthday or home anniversary. You have no pending tasks to complete. So it logs in right here. If you're using any CRM, OneSuite, whatever CRM you're using at the highest level, You should be working only out of this CRM on a daily basis. You should be able to log into here. You know exactly what tasks you have to complete, who you should be in contact with that day, who you need to follow up with, who you need to wish happy birthday or happy anniversary to, who you need to send cards to. Like, this should help you automate your business and set it up so that you have success in the long run, that nobody gets missed. Okay. In addition, here it's got a little video of updates. So here's the updates that have been made to OneSuite recently. It'll take you through a little quick walkthrough. And then it's got your contacts at a glance, active contacts in the last 30 days, upcoming tasks in the next 7 days, contacts added in the last 30 days, listing alerts sent in the last 7 days, market reports sent, and then overall percentage of reports opened. So it gives you kind of this high glance overview at the activity in your database. Now, keep in mind, the more active your database is, the more success that you're going to have. So the more that you're working in here, doing everything out of this database, then it's going to allow you to track this and be able to kind of be your indicator of future success. If we go here and click this, right, it says My Contacts at a Glance for detailed information, visit your client tracking dashboard. If we click on that, it's going to take us to a more in-depth dashboard. Okay. This is going to show, hey, here's who I recommend that you follow up with. So if you aren't being good at tracking inside of your database, this is, you know, who it's going to tell you should interact with. And you have options. You can email directly from here. You can send a market report. You can add them to a campaign. It gives you the ability that you could open that database or that contact. Okay, you can see the overview. This allows you to see all the information you have regarding that contact. Here's the active marketing, last touch, last activity report. Here's where you can add those tasks in here. So here's where I can say, hey, let's add a task to this contact. And see here, it's got a start date. How often do you want the reminder? What kind of task is it? What's the subject? Who are we assigning it to? It automatically assigned it to this person. Right. And then what's in the body? Like, what are we including? What will this follow up entail? We want to take notes. So last time we talked about how his dog was sick. I'm setting a task a week from now to follow up and check in with him to just see how his dog was. Right. Super simple. We add that in there. We hit save or save as close. And now we've added that new task in there. Okay. So that's how you can easily update it. Do I want to continue? Yes. Okay, so then it would add that to my task. Here, if he had any recent website activity, it would show the drip campaigns, any campaign tags he has, which is how you assign them to those drip campaigns, or recent marketing reports. So this person's, and then it would list whatever they're unsubscribed from here. So if there's things they've unsubscribed from, keep in mind that even an unsubscribe from a client is a good opportunity to reach out to them. So if I had sent out an email of some sort and noticed that they had unsubscribed, that would be a good time for me to reach out and say, hey, I noticed that you unsubscribed from everything. I just wanted to make sure that you're no longer interested in getting property reports or market updates or for sale properties or my monthly newsletter, right? So you would have all that information there, and it's a good time. And they might be like, oh, well, yeah, I want the newsletter. I just didn't want property updates. You'd be like, perfect. I'm going to resubscribe you, but I'm going to take off your property updates. So you're not getting those anymore, but you'll still get that handy dandy newsletter that has all those tips and tricks each month of ways to maintain your house, the recipe of the month, right? Whatever it is that you're sending out in your newsletter. All right. So there is that. You can also from here invite them to the one app. So you can invite by email, by text, or copy that link, which would send them to your app. Okay. All right. So you can, this is updated nightly. So this is a good place to go in there and see who's unsubscribed. So you can follow up with them the next business day, check in with them. This also, if you have hot sheets saved or saved searches, this will show you how many new properties have populated into those so that you can view those results and what the search is. Okay. And then any upcoming tasks, birthdays and anniversaries all appear here with the dates. Okay, and then notice here, it's like, hey, Sam's got a birthday on the 15th. Have we contacted them? We can just check that box there that we've contacted them, and it'll be marked. So it'll take it off your birthday list. Here you can send an email directly from this. Okay. So super simple. Do I wish to continue? Yes. Okay. And you can add notes as well. So I could click on here to add notes directly to Sam. Ta-da. So it opens up that so I can add those notes in there. Down here at the bottom, it's got my contacts and leads, who's listed as a contact, a lead, and then active in the past 7 weeks, total active campaigns running, and then new contacts added over the past 7 weeks. Then you've got listing alerts, property details, and market reports. So it's, and then here's listing views in the last 6 months, number of times my listings have appeared in search results, number of times my listings have been viewed. So there's that. You can also pull this data on a weekly basis for your listing update to your sellers down here at the bottom. And then you've got your Google Analytics. This is for your websites. New and returning visitors, bounce rate, how long are they staying on your website? So there's a lot of good detailed information in this client tracking dashboard. Any questions about that client tracking dashboard? Okay, you can get here 2 different ways. Number one, I got here from the home page. Remember, it had that little summary on the home page down here, and I hit the client tracking dashboard. You can also come down here to client reports to get to that. You should be able to get there from there. Let's see here. Maybe not. Somewhere on here you can get there. Oh, here we go. Under contacts and leads, you've got that client tracking dashboard. Okay, so that's how you would get there if you weren't on this page already. So that's your home page that you can work off of. Okay, so we've covered that top toolbar. We've covered the middle section. Now we're going to work our way down that left-hand side. We're going to end with contacts and leads, so we'll come back to that at the end just so I can show you where to do that. Your top option here is agent office search. If you were looking for another agent or office number associated with us, that's where you would find it. Again, this is just our office and our agent. So if you're like, oh, I needed Amy's phone number, you come in here to agent. There we go. Right. And then you could say, hey, let's find Amy Petard right there. And there's my phone number, right? The other way to do that is you could type it in up here to the search bar at any time. Again, remember, we want to type it in and then we're going to wait patiently. And then that would pull up my profile that way. Okay. So that's that. We're going to skip down to calendar. If you're tracking your tasks and appointments, it's going to show up on this calendar. Okay, you can also link in additional calendars, but here, this way you would know exactly what you have going on. So if you're looking for a good calendar to use or it to be integrated with your system, this is a good option as well. If we toggle between calendar and appointments, I toggled to appointments. I've got the spinning wheel of death, but it should, I believe, pull them up as a list. Just waiting. I hit the refresh button. All right, hold on. All right, there's calendar. Time slots, right? So you can adjust those time slots there. To plug that in there to add those. So a time slot would be adding an appointment. Okay. Yes, we want to exit. So you can utilize that calendar. Your listings here is going to give you a property search. So if your client sent you over a property, hold on. Like, let's see if we can find this. So you could do radius search here. You could do status fields. You can do quick search by MLS number, by zip code, right? Features, listing type. You can also do a map search, my listings or my office listings. Iris, I believe you are able to merge the Google Calendar into your regular calendar. I think you have to go into your profile though to do that. I'll look here in a second. So property search, if I pulled up my listings, it pulls up all those. If I wanted to look for maybe an open house to host this weekend, I could go, hey, what are my office listings? And then it'll tell me where they are, what the status is, right? Pending, contingent, right? So if we're looking for active properties, I can hit this status button, which is going to sort them in by status alphabetically, first to last, right? So descending. So that would give you a good way to be in there and be like, who has active listings? 413 Crown Point, Bruce. Hey, Bruce, can I host your listing open this weekend? Right? So great way to look for properties. Also, if somebody talked about a property in our office meeting, you could select this property here and say, hey, let's text it. Who's my contact, and it will text out that property to that person, or you can email it directly from here as well. You could also do that, right? So if I said, hey, I want to do a map search. On market coming soon. We're going to say, hey, Fruitvale area. It's got your saved areas here. I want coming soon. I don't see any properties. So let's go. Vacaville. There we go. So again, anytime you auto-populate somebody or something in there, you want to type it in and then you want to wait for it to auto-populate. Count to 10, try not to click on things. So there, use the map to scroll. Hold on, I obviously don't have enough. Let's go. Search map. There we go. So it's got two listings. So you just, once you search it or identify where you want to search, then it's going to pull up those listings for you so that you can see them. Okay. Super simple there. You could display as a search result. So that's going to take it over to that list format. Okay. And then if I wanted to send those to a client, they match their criteria. Again, I can select those properties, hit text. Oh, you can only text one at a time. So you could do it that way, and it's going to send out that message. It's going to link them right back to your website. Okay, so it's going to get you those hits on your website, or we could say, hey, we want to email those listings. It's going to give you the selected formats. How do we want it on there? Open houses, new on the market, just sold. Simple is here. Okay, custom descriptions is here. You hit generate. There we go. Look at that. So it's going to send those out. And then you just hit the email button. It's going to say, hey, who do you want to send that to? Notice here that when we go to email something, you can change the subject. You can go by contacts or by groups. So remember, we talked about those groups on Monday. So maybe I want to send this to all of my Vacaville clients. I could say, hey, I want clients and Vacaville. That's who I want to send this to. Then I'm going to hit preview or send and close. Okay, to preview it, it's going to show me what that email is going to look like. And then you hit send and close. Okay, so you can send it by groups. That's why it's so important to be able to group those people appropriately. If you missed that training on Monday, go back and rewatch it. I talked about all the different ways that you should categorize your people in your database. Oops, cancel, yes. Okay, so that is under property search, map search, and then search listings, same thing here. You're going to plug in your details. We want active coming soon. Maybe I want list price up to 700,000. 600 to 700, and maybe I want it over here in Vacaville. My computer has now, there we go. Hold on. It was unhappy with me. There we go. Okay, and then you're going to hit search. You can also hit count. So instead of hitting search, if I would have hit count, it would have told me how many properties are going to populate. So there is that. I searched all the homes that were, 600 to 700,000 in Vacaville. Super simple. And again, you could select those properties, email them out if there was one that worked. You can also save this search. So I'm going to call this 600 to 700 Vacaville. And hit save or close. Now that's a saved search that I don't have to come in here and plug in all the details for. I can just pull it up under my saved searches. Okay, so that's property search. You've got search listings, map search, listings, office, and results. Then if you go down to save searches, here's any of those searches that I have saved. It allows you to view properties directly from here. And remember, it was also on that homepage area as well. You can also add a new search here. You can refresh them. Okay, so if I want to take this and delete it, I could just hit the delete button. And now that saved search is gone. And then you've got historical sold listings as well. So if I wanted new, I could say, hey, I want single family residences sold in January. You have to plug in the address. So this is if you're looking for a specific property with its data, you do have to plug in the address with the city, state, and zip. Okay. And then put that sold date in there of what date it's sold. And that would allow you to pull it up. Then you just hit save and close. It'll keep that in your history. Yes, discard. Okay. So if you wanted like a list of all your listings or all your transactions that have closed, you can save them in here as a list, just like Zillow does, right? So that you always have those historical listings saved. Okay. Next, we've got promote your listings. So marketing materials have been created. Time to promote your listing. So here we can email the listing, promote your listing with Realtor. So if you have access to those extra documents, we can offer order print marketing from Express Docs directly from here. We can create marketing templates with Creative Studio. Okay, those are all free. You can create a rental listing inside a Rent Spree. You can share listing on your social media, generate a custom flyer, generate a property QR code. Just so you know, I've been testing for sale signs with a QR code on them where people can scan that QR code. It takes them, or a text to code. I think it's got both, to get property details. So if anybody drives by my signs and they want to see the property information, they just text the number and then it sends them a link to view that information. It captures their information for me. It's been working really well. You can access property details, view visual tour, property slideshow, view listing on your single property website, view listing on your agent website. Okay, so many options there. You can promote your listing here by hitting the promote listing button. It's going to take you over to Realtor, so you have to have that account set up. Okay, but you can do anything from this drop down. Okay, there's active. You could also look at sold properties as well. So you can email out that data or create postcards around it. Okay, so that's the promote your listings. Client reports. You've got the property exposure report. So if you wanted to see what a property exposure report looked like, let's hit new report. Collecting data. There's a lot of really handy tools inside of OneSuite besides just being able to manage your database and your CRM. All right, so here's that property exposure report. Listing exposure to vast number of potential buyers. Here's the number of potential buyers looking for homes, total number of searches made, right? So it's a great idea to include this. We talked about it, I don't know, last month, and we talked about the fact that you may want to include something like this. As part of your listing package, you can create these property reports. And makes it really cool to be able to pull that over, have that information. It's a little bit more in detail. So that's what that property exposure report looks at like. You've got listing alerts. So those would be when you've got searches set up for listing alerts. You can create them in here. You can add them to contacts. You can delete them and edit them through here. This is all those listing alerts. You can create these inside of the contact, or you can create these separately here. You've got property detailed reports. That would be for like a specific property. You've got market reports, which is for market areas. So here you could put in, you could create market reports for like 95688 or 95687. So you can create it based on specific areas or cities. These market reports are a good one that maybe you want to send out to your clients. They've just closed on a property, and once a month you want them to receive a market report to keep them updated of what's going on in their general area. You've got report cover images, so you can change up those cover images here. So you can add new pictures. So you might want to like hyper local photos of the area, the town signs, whatever that might be there. You can add those in. And then your report settings. Okay, so you can set those up. This drip campaign center, again, we're going to cover that in a future training. You do have an open house registration here where you can set it up for, you plug in the property address. Can't spell today. Let's see here. It doesn't like this one because that property is not showing up as active. All right, we're just going to plug in this one. You're going to hit open form. Look at that. And you've got touch-free options for that open house form. The cool thing is if they scan this, it's going to take them right to their phone to register for the open house, and it's going to add that person as a lead into your database. And you don't have to do it anymore. Okay, so that's the open house registration form. You also have the ability to edit your website from here and then other resources. Any questions about any of those options outside of the calendar question? I believe that there is a way to link your Google Calendar. Mego profile. Iris, I'm going to work on that and get back to you on it because I would like to figure out if you can do that, and if I'm able to, I would because I thought I saw a way at one point. I would like to, I'll share that information with you. We'll do a little quick recording on it and post it in the Foxhole group. Let's see, social media links. You've got display, email signatures, just looking at the website settings. Contacts, appointments, groups. All right. We will look into that and see if we can figure out how to link, if it's possible, link that Google Calendar. I know it used to be. All right. So popping back up to contacts and leads, that's where you're going to spend most of your time, is inside of contacts and leads. You've got that client tracking dashboard at the bottom, which is what we went over at the beginning from the homepage. You've also got this contact import and export. So if you don't have all your contacts into your database yet, instead of going in and inputting each one individually, you can import contacts off a spreadsheet, which is probably the most efficient way to do that. Just open up either like a Google Sheets or an Excel spreadsheet. You are numbers, right? And you're going to create the columns. So you want to see what the options are. And then we're going to say, hey, we want to import contacts. So you go to contacts and leads, import those contacts. You're going to follow the instructions. Is it a, you can do an Outlook export file, a Gmail, I can't read today, or a CSV file, which means that, remember we talked about grabbing your contacts from your Gmail. We talked about your phone, your Gmail, right? You can go to Gmail, you can export those contacts into a Gmail export file or Outlook export file, depending on what system you're using. And then you can import that directly into here, right? Or you can do a CSV file, which is just like your regular Google Sheets or your Excel. And then when you save it, you want to save as CSV file. Okay. Oops. Okay, so that's how you would start that process. Okay, you're going to select browse the file, and then you're going to just follow the instructions. Okay, so that again was under contacts and leads, import and export. Yeah, you would do the same thing if down the road from now you're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm ready to upgrade my CRM to something different. You can export the contacts to a file as well from here, and it'll take all their information with them. All right, you can look at sent marketing emails. What was sent? What was the date that it was sent? How many opens? How many clicks did it have, right? So you can see those here. The happy home anniversary and happy birthday emails have gone out. Okay, again, it shows what date, the time. It always goes out at like 5:30 in the morning, just so you know. They're like really early on those emails. You can't change the time on the emails. They just go out when they go out. If you want to see what that email looked like, you can click on it. It'll open up that email for you so you can see what it looked like. And then like this one says, hey, it was undelivered. Okay, so now we know we've got an error. Now we can also see those undelivered ones. If we go in here, we've got bounced or invalid email addresses. It'll show us when the email was last checked and that it was deemed as invalid. Okay. That's what's going to lead to those bounced emails. If we want to compose an email, we can do it here in the email button. So if we wanted to send out just a single email or a group email to people, right? Like a bulk email, we can hit compose here. And again, remember, we can send those emails either to a contact or to an agent or a contact group. So that's oftentimes how we're going to send it. Like we're sending out a newsletter, we might want to send it to a contact group. Then you can hit browse. You can say, hey, we want to send it to all the groups, right? Or maybe we just want to send it to our people that were tagged open house. So you have so many options there that you can do based on how you have your database set up. That's how you would do those emails. Discard. All right. And then we've got our groups here. So this is where you can create new groups. You can also create new groups inside of each contact, so that you can do it that way as well. You're not limited just to this. And so remember, we talked about ways that you can categorize as captured versus connected. You always want to tag them with or group them by how you met them. Are they a circle of influence? Are they a social media lead? Were they Facebook? Were they open house? How did you meet these people? Was it a networking group, right? Whatever that is. We want to tag them based on their intention. Are they a buyer, seller, or investor? What's their time frame? What kind of client are they? Are they an A client, an A+ client, a B client, gold, silver, bronze, right? However you want to do that. So you can create all of those groups in here. In addition to that, then if we go into leads and contacts, you can see how you can categorize them this way as well. So you can decide how you want to use groups versus how you want to use the actual contact list. Okay, so when we go into a contact, notice here, it gives us this summary page, and there's, you can toggle on the right-hand side of the page, you can go between a grid format where it turns them into little boxes versus a list. So if yours looks different or you prefer a grid format, you can do it that way as well. But notice that here it's got the edit button. I can delete them. I can see if they've been added to a drip campaign. I can see if they're considered, oh, these are if they're a lead, sorry. These are lead funnels. So if I had that open house page that people were, registration page that people were using, and they entered their information, it's going to show up with them as a lead, which means that they've been added to my system. I didn't add them in there. Okay, those are the leads. So these are all people that were like sign calls or something to that effect, or they were searching on my website. That's how these people got here. So these indicate lead. Here we have their information. It says contacts are registered as hot when they register for an account, save a search, or save a listing on a website, or interact with marketing reports by clicking a link such as view details, view map, schedule an appointment, etc. So notice how I just hovered over that to figure that out. If I click on hot, it's gonna sort them that way versus hot versus not hot. Okay. So those would be the unhot. Okay. You can sort it by any of these columns. So if you wanted to sort by lead, you just click the top of the column there. You click it once, it goes ascending or descending. You click it again, it's going to go ascending. So, right. So if I click first names, it's going to sort them alphabetically. Descending, sorry, A all the way to Z. And if I click it again, then it goes descending. So it starts with Z and goes back to A. So you can change any of those things up. Here's your lead source here. So it gives you an option to select that lead source, request type, when that lead was created, if they have any active marketing, and then also a rating, and then lead status. Okay, so let's pull open one. I always put myself in my database as a contact so that I can go in there and mess with my own contact information first before I mess with my client's information, or I can send reports or listings or whatever to myself. So here is my profile. Now keep in mind, if I scroll down, it's going to scroll through all of these options right here: profile, contact, spouse, addresses, notes, and unsubscribed. Or so I can either scroll down through it, or if I wanted to hop to a spot, I could go, hey, addresses, I need to update that address. Then it's going to zip me right to that section. Keep in mind, if I scroll up, it gives me spouse, partner, contact, right? So data information there. Okay, so that's how this works. These are kind of the quick jumps, but you can scroll to get there as well on each contact. So title, name, right? How do you want the file as mapping? This is, hey, we want it to be mapped as first last. You want it last first. This is how it's going to like choose how to sort it. Okay, so I've got it set as first last. And then so that shows that, hey, it's going to file it as Amy Petard. If I was like, hey, I want last first, notice it changes that around. So this would have last first and then their company name in parentheses. All right. Here's where we've got those contact groups, right? So this is a client, referral partner, connected, Vacaville. I can browse groups to add. So I just click the little browse button, and then I could select, hey, they're also a neighbor. And I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to add neighbor to the list there. And then I could also say, hey, I want a new group. I'm going to call this new group Gold. And then I'm going to hit save and close. Okay, and then I'm going to go browse. Oh, it automatically added them because I created them inside of that contact. Okay, so now they're listed as gold as well as neighbor. So you can add as many contact groups as you want. Here's our campaign tags. This we'll learn more about in a future session. This is how we tag them into one of the campaigns that we want to automatically send to them. Here's, you've got birthday, you've got a home anniversary. You can add a picture of that client so you remember what they look for. And then you can also give them a rating. Okay, so like right now, this is a 5. So let's say instead of like an A+, A, B, and C client, we wanted to rate them as a 1 through 5. Where maybe 5 is like your top tier and 1 are the people we don't really care about. So you can use that rating system there. On the main screen, it'll highlight the stars. So it's like a star rating system. You could also use this rating system as a way to rate like how soon they're going to transact with you. So you could use it that way as well. So there's a lot of options. There's no rules to how you want to use this rating. Just make sure you're consistent in it. So I would take this rating. If I was going to use it for like my top tier clients, I would take and say, okay, so 5 stars. Here's what a 1 star looks like. Here's the parameters. Here's a 2 star. I'm going to put that on my desk, on my computer, so that I know every time I put a contact in, what that rating is based off of so that it can be consistent. Okay. Contact information. You've got places for multiple emails, multiple phone numbers, business phone numbers, instant messenger address, web page, company, URL, LinkedIn, Facebook. So you can put all of their contact information there. You can also put their spouse's information in here, including that spouse's birthday. You can put in their mailing address. This is going to be what is their home, their preferred mailing address here, and you plug in that mailing address. Here's notes, so you can add notes. If they've unsubscribed from anything, it would show you what they're subscribed to and what they've unsubscribed from. Okay, so that is the details on that editing somebody. Yes, I want to continue. Okay, if I want to add a new contact, I'm not going to upload them. I can just hit new here. And then you're going to input that same information and it's just blank. Once you're done, you're going to hit save and close or save. And that's going to add new contacts to your database. Okay, you can go into right find here. We can refresh it. We can print the list. We can go to manage groups, which is going to take us back to that. Oh, you would manage the group. So this is these are your bulk actions here. So let's say that like my top 3 here are 4. I want to go in and manage groups. I can bulk change these groups. Okay, so keep in mind, this is going to bulk add groups. So if I was like, oh, these people are Vacaville, I would click Vacaville and hit apply. And now it's going to add that group to everybody together versus me having to go into each person individually. Okay. Here's all groups is showing now. If I was like, oh, I just want to see the people I'm connected with, I would click that and it would just show my connected group. So you can sort that there. If I just want to see neighbors, right? Maybe we just want to see clients. Okay, so you can toggle and do that there. We can assign campaign tags in bulk as well. So maybe I wanted to go to my client group. I'm going to select all those clients and then I'm going to assign to a campaign tag. So maybe I want this, the Spanish version of the seller campaign. I'm going to hit apply, and then it would apply to everybody who was checked here. So it's a really easy way to go in there and apply campaigns based on groups. Okay. And then maybe I want to create a listing alert, a property detail report, or a marketing report for certain people. We could go in there and select those. So maybe instead of clients, I'm going to say, hey, I want all of the Vacaville people. And now I'm going to go in there. So we may want to, like, instead of location by city, we may want to do it by zip code or neighborhood or, something like that. We can make it hyper local. We can go in there and create a marketing report for those people there. Or we can invite a bunch of people to our one app. Okay, so we could go back in here and say, hey, we want all our groups. Okay, we're going to select this button at the top to select all the leads. Okay, this is going to select all 100 here that are on this page. Oh, there we go. Select all. Okay. And then we want to go to the one app link, and we're going to invite by text message. Too many. Oh, I can only do 5 at a time for text messages. Okay, let's see. Can I do invite by email? So now it's going to add all of these people and send it out via email to invite them to download my app to be able to search properties. Okay. So that's your contacts and leads. Again, your goal is to get as many in there as possible. You want at least 250 contacts in there that you can systematically interact with on a regular basis. We're going to talk more about that in a future week of what those interactions look like. I believe it's next week. You've also got the home valuation leads. So on your website, there's a home valuation page that you can share with people, and those separate out those home valuation leads separately, so that it makes it really easy for you to go in here and make sure you send them that home valuation. And then also under contacts and leads, you can go to your task page as well, which lists all of the tasks, whether they are new tasks, what the reminder is, right, or an expired task. Okay, so that's your tour of OneSuite. You're going to spend most of your time inside of contacts and leads. You need to get as many people in there as possible if you don't have another CRM or database system that you are using. Again, there's no one right or wrong database system to use. If you're more comfortable working off a spreadsheet, that's fine. It's just easier for things to get lost because you can't sort it as easily, or you don't have the automated button that pops up all your tasks that you need to do. But that's okay. You can use it in conjunction with a regular calendar. And I like this one because it's free. Free 99 is nice. There's a lot more robust systems out there. There's a lot you'll see as we go into setting up kind of automated campaigns. There's a lot that have a lot more automation with them, which allows you to do less and your system to do more for you, whether you're working or not that day. But again, I like to have money coming in order to have money going out to reinvest into my property or into my business. So if you're like, man, OneSuite's okay, but I'd really like it to have more features, go figure out, spend time, get all your contacts in here, be working the plan, right? Plan to work it, but have a time in your week to be able to identify and look at and research other CRM systems or other database systems, so that you know what that dollar amount looks like for when you do have more income coming in, and you can budget for that reinvestment. So know what that kind of annual plan looks like, so you can take that money and set it aside, and then you can upgrade into that other plan later on. I'm not going to claim that OneSuite is the most user-friendly or the most robust system that exists. It is not by any means. It's more user-friendly than it used to be, and it's a good place to get started. It has the basics in there. Any questions, thoughts, or ahas before we wrap up today? All right, you were a quiet group of people today. We will be back on Monday at 9 a.m., the same link, covering more with database. Again, I believe next week we're going to talk about how to interact with your database, but I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure that's what comes up next week. So I'll see you Monday, 9 a.m. If you guys have any questions before then, don't hesitate to reach out.